Hey, what's going on? I want to talk about how easy it is to actually post on YouTube and actually shoot videos and whatnot. Most of the time, when I'm shooting my videos, I'm normally home or in my office or at my kitchen island. I just make it happen. That's basically what you have to do. You just got to make it happen and make time for it. One of the first things I noticed when I started doing the YouTube, I overthinked it. I was basically just thinking about everything that was going on in my head and could not quite put it together. But then once I realized and I sat down and I started writing things out, it started getting better. But the main thing was I just had to start posting. And when I started posting, I started having better ideas come to my brain. And I was able to start being a little bit more organized. I'm still not there yet, but I'm getting there, close. As due time, I have a nice amount of videos. I'm gonna be real. In the beginning, didn't think it was possible. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to knock that many videos out. But I realized that whatever you have that's in your background or your experience with life, think about that and think about how you want to express that towards people that can help people. That's one of the main players that I see going across, even like when you look at YouTube or you look at similar channels, people are giving their experiences and going over what they went through, or they giving advice or some solutions that can really help people out. And I think that's a good trait to have, because with your experiences, you never know who else is going through what you're going through, or if people need help in just motivating themselves to get over the hump. I'm one of the ones that I sometimes lack the motivation sometimes. I go through normal situations when it comes to depression, but I don't battle with depression. But everybody goes through something that can kind of take them off their path and just guide them through success. But I'm just here to tell you that YouTube is not that difficult. You basically just you gotta just do it. Put 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 whatever you have going on to the side and just motivate yourself to actually try to push forward to actually get it done. So I want to basically break down to you how I made YouTube a lot simpler. Um, Basically, what I do is, like, once I shoot my videos, that's the first process. That first process is the most difficult, because once you shoot the video, you already know that you're basically shooting something that you're going to upload. So at that time, you basically going to be in your own head sometimes to be like, yo, should I post this? How I'm going to label this? How I'm going to put a thumbnail up? Whatever. Don't overthink it. That's one. Two, when it's time to upload, make sure I'm not going to say it's always going to be to your liking. You're not going to be perfect. So keep that in mind. It's not going to be perfect. Never is going to be perfect. So it's never going to be to your liking. Trying to have perfection, that's not going to work. That comes in due time. So always think of that when you're shooting those videos. It's not going to be perfect. It comes with experience. Once you get used to it, which I'm not there yet, but I realized that within the 3 weeks that I've been at it, it's starting to come a lot more natural. Like the second week, you start feeling yourself out more and more. You start seeing what you did in your first video and your first several videos. It'll start to come a little bit more clear to you. Two, the software you use. Some people use their cell phones. You can use your Samsung or you can use your iPhone. They both can edit without any type of program. They already have it implemented inside the phones. So keep that in mind. Don't overthink that neither. If you have a Samsung, big time. Samsung is a really good phone for shooting videos. iPhones are as well. iPhone uses iMovie. Samsung uses their gallery app. You can go into it. You can go over that or probably look something up like that. But I have both phones, so I understand how they both work, and they both do have it. Basically, when you upload your video, you make the decision how you want to edit it, or if you want it to be just raw. But remember, take into consideration, if you shooting raw, sometimes, I'm not going to say some, most times, if you go over your video, you're going to find a lot of flaws, and you might not be as clear to whoever you trying to reach out to your to the people that's actually watching your videos. So keep in mind, sometimes when you're talking, you might catch a brain freeze and not kind of come across. I'm not going to say you're not going to come across, but you basically you missing steps in what you was trying to say. It's not real formative. So always keep that in mind. That's why I'm a big believer that you should go over your video at least once or twice. But that's just me. Everybody has their own preference. In due time, with experience, you start getting better. If you are using a program, always remember that you will start to learn more things to do, as far as like when it goes to editing, title work that you end up putting into those videos. What else? Using animation. There's so many different things you're going to learn, but keep in mind, you do not want to overload your brain trying to learn everything all in one day, because what's going to happen is you're going to catch a brain freeze and you're going to end up stopping because it's going to seem overwhelming. If you make it more simple, just pull the phone out. Just pull the phone out, start recording, and start talking. If you cannot remember what you was going to say, write it down. If you can't write it down, then you probably shouldn't record. But most likely you can. Just start talking about whatever you decide you want to talk about. This video is basically just about just getting started and getting yourself motivated, because one of the things that we lack today is motivation. And it's hard to motivate yourself, but you have to find a way, because nobody's going to do it for you. So always think of that. No one cares. If you think you need to express to people that what you're doing, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to fall short. So don't do that. Just start doing it. You don't even have to talk about it. You don't have to express to how much work you got to do. Just remember, you got to set aside the time. Okay. Remember, I talked about time. Now, that's one of the most critical. Time. When you think that you don't have time, you don't have time. That's because you just told yourself that you don't have time. So, word of advice, time management. Your time management is going to be basically on you. When you get off of work, if you're thinking about it, do it. What's going to happen is, once you get settled in and you home, one of the number one keys to procrastination is, once you sit down, you think about something too long and you sitting there and you just basically wasting time. That's a time that you could have jumped on it. It's the same thing as doing anything with repetition. Once you create a flow, once you create a work atmosphere at home that can help you focus and get editing done to be able to post your videos, one of the main things you want to do is sit down and strategize and make sure you have a clean workplace so you can be able to keep your mind on to what you're trying to do. Remember, the easier you make things when it comes to posting and shooting your videos, is the easier it is for you to actually get it done. It's not going to be difficult. It's only difficult in the beginning. Only if you make it that difficult. You also got to keep in mind, you cannot just do something real quick and think it's going to turn out right. So as you consistently make it into like a job, like, not saying that if you make it into like a strenuous situation, don't do that. So remember, time is not on your side. The longer you sit up there and procrastinate and don't post, it's the time that you end up losing. So being creative is one of those things. If you want to get something done, do it. You cannot expect anybody to do anything for you. But you definitely have to treat it as a job. Not a full-time job, but a job where as though it's a part-time. It's a part-time job because this is something that has the, how can I put it? You have to put work in. So you do have to treat it like a second job. It's work. You do have to put the work in. And remember, when you're doing your videos and you're posting and you also editing, remember, the type of work you put into it at times will show that you care about your videos. Another thing, I can't tell you what to talk about, but just from looking at other videos and me battling sometimes of just getting inside my head, um, I'm seeing that the videos that I gravitate to, are ones that I can really learn something from. So remember that if you teaching somebody something, then that's the only thing I can say that gravitates me. So I might not be your audience, but just remember, wherever audience you're trying to get, that's what you want to talk about. You know, don't overthink it. Don't be trying to do too much, because if you're trying to do too much, you're going to be unclear what you're trying to put a message off to. Like, no one is going to know what you're trying to demonstrate. And anybody, think about it. Like, if a teacher is teaching you, they're not talking about anything if they all over the place. So keep that in mind. So lately, if you've been on YouTube, you've been seeing that a lot of life stories are being posted. That's another thing I want to talk about. If you have, remember, I want to reiterate this. Your life stories that actually can help people succeed in life, that can make them have a different trajectory of the direction that they're going. Believe me when I tell you, it will help people. It has helped me, and I noticed those type of videos are very informative when it's talking about different sectors of life, when people going through bankruptcies, family problems, divorces, anything that's dealing with life. I think we're in an atmosphere now where people want realness. We look for fake when we need entertainment. That's something that you really need to look into. So like I said, so if you're going through a depression or some type of unstableness in your life and you're able to communicate that, do videos just letting people know where they can find help. Seeing a number posted is not always the best for people, because sometimes they just look at certain things and brush you right off. So just talking to your audience. Find your niche. People always talk about your niche. That's just one of the concerns in the world today. People just want people that they can talk to, relate to, communicate back and forth to, bounce some questions off. That's why the comment sections are sometimes flooded, depending who channel you on, because people are able to communicate that back and forth and talk to other people that's going through the same situation. Anger is one of those, a lot of us deal with that. Emotions. Our emotions are all over the place, especially in this type of economy. So YouTube is a big help. So if you feel uninspired, inspire yourself to know that, take that step. Do what you need to do to get over the scaredness, and motivate yourself to go forward. All right? And hopefully I can come across one of your videos, or you come across one of mine, and we can succeed together. But YouTube is definitely fulfilling the void. Damn, did I just spit? Yeah, it's cold out here. But YouTube will definitely has fulfilled me in ways that I did not expect. And it definitely helps me see myself in a different light. So hopefully you can look at your life and see the same. And last but not least, time. When we talked about time earlier, remember, we're going into 2025. The longer you wait, the longer your success. So look at it like this. Like I was saying, procrastination kills anything. But like I was talking about earlier about time, I don't want to keep talking about time and reiterating it. But remember, we're going into 2025. 2025, which means 2024 is damn near gone. Which means that opportunity is gone. So if you go into 25 like you did 2024 and waste time, you will realize that the time that you could have started doing these YouTube videos and posting how you should, as like I told you before, if you start now, you will start to see your trajectory go up. and you can't do nothing but get better. And you only get better with the time that you put into your craft. Another concern that I end up going through when I started posting, I didn't see views, and then all of a sudden I started seeing views. Do not get caught up in looking at your analytics like I did. That's another downfall too that can bother you sometimes. You're like, yo, I'm not getting views. I'm not getting views. Luckily, I started seeing views in my third video, but you also gotta get out of your own head of thinking that, damn, I'm not getting views. I'm not getting views. Yo, I'm seeing now that this is what makes you better. You start having a different understanding of what you're doing, what you're talking about, what people want to see, what they want to actually, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna say what people looking for. Like when somebody's looking for a certain type of video, you might not come up in their playlist or up on their page because you're not talking about the things that most people are looking for. So in due time, you will end up finding your audience, and also a lot of your videos are not being recommended because you don't have enough videos put out. You don't have enough information on yourself. The YouTube is actually analyzing to see what is going to be your target audience. And you have to also think about those things, because what'll happen is, if you start to think about it too much, what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself. You definitely going to find yourself going through it. And I did it in my second week. I'm not going to even lie to you. I did it. I did it my second week. I started thinking to myself, damn, nobody's watching my videos, until I started seeing views. And then not my second video, I forgot what number video it was, but it was a video I had, and I do know the last time I looked at it, it had over 30 views. I felt good about it. This is why I say sometimes you can have a false hope, because you see one video do something, or you see a second video, and you start to think that all of them are supposed to do that. But also keep in mind, the videos that don't get views sometimes start getting views, and it start picking up late. I don't know if it has anything to do with YouTube finding your target audience, or I don't know. But just know that, look at your titles. Don't go crazy on your titles trying to be extra special with these titles, because that's another thing I'm starting to notice. If you try to be too creative in your titles, it's not going to come across right. Remember, what you thinking is not what everybody else is thinking. If you talking about something that's specific, about cooking food, and you cooking a certain meal, it needs to have something in that title to let people know what you're actually doing, that you're cooking a meal that's based around macaroni and cheese, or something like a salad, or whatnot. Don't try to be crazy with it, because it's not going to come off right. Because remember, if people looking for certain dishes to make, you're not going to be recommended, because your title is so crazy. If someone sees it, they're not going to know what you actually talking about. So keep that in mind. I'm starting to figure that out more and more. That's why I say, the more time that you put in doing this, this is where you're going to start to figure out how to actually post, how to actually communicate, how to actually describe the topic, how you want to represent it, what your thumbnail is going to be. And then you can work around that. But once you get to that place where you can be really creative to a point where as though you're going over the top, that probably comes later on down the line of when you have way more subscribers, you're monetized, and you're being recommended to a lot of people, because you have a lot of people that are on your page that are, I guess, your fans, or your basically like your customers. It's kind of, but you might not be buying up from you, but at the end of the day, they're buying their time. They're giving their time to you to watch their videos, if that makes sense to you. Because really, you are dedicating time, and time is everything. You can't get that back. So if anybody's looking at your videos, they looking at them to learn something and to actually follow something. it could either be a little trend for a short period of time that they're trying to follow, and you might be upholding that trend. But be inspiring. Boy, it's cold out here. I'm still waiting. But while I'm waiting, you see how, matter of fact, I'm glad I am doing this, because you know what? This shows me one thing. And not only this, I wasn't even thinking about when I was doing this video about this. While I'm sitting here burning time, I'm actually sitting here making a video about something that I was going to do when I got home. But since I'm burning time right now, waiting for my trailer to be filled up, I'm sitting here making a video. Remember we talked about earlier about time? This is one of those prime examples of not wasting time. I can just sit, you can just sit up, do nothing, look at your phone, make calls, but I'm sitting here doing a video. So that's one of the prime examples of time. When you find time in your schedule, use it. Because if you don't use it, you will lose it. Think about that. That time you procrastinate. Say, man, you sit somewhere a whole hour. That's a whole hour you could have got something done. So don't let anything discourage you about posting. I keep saying that because I don't want you to forget it. That's why I keep repeating that, because that was something that I had to keep repeating to myself. Reason why I say I had to keep repeating that to myself was because the simple fact I was procrastinating for a whole, I'm gonna be honest with you, about 6 months. 6 months of procrastinating, saying I was going to post. And I turned around and didn't post one video. Did all these videos and did not post one. And the reason for that is, there was no reason. I felt like I didn't have time. And for some odd reason, all of a sudden this morning, I was up at 3 in the morning because I went to bed early because I was tired. And that's another thing. I went to bed early and I got up early and I was able to finish doing another video that I did not post yet. And I was editing the video. It was basically on fitness. So that's another suggestion that I would say. If you tired, do not operate that way. And I say that, believe me, and anyone knows, when you super tired, you can't think right. Your brain is not responding right. The things that you think make sense do not make sense. So if you tired, get rest. That's one thing that's important, because at the end of the day, safety is everything. So get your rest. And that, I would advise, what is the best time in the day that you're able to operate efficiently? And I'm talking about, like, when you get up early. Some people, they drag in the morning. They don't go to bed early. They get up, they go to bed late, and they get up super early. So it makes them drag. So you're not going to be able to get anything done. So I would say, work around your schedule, what works best for you, but try to find a solution to how you sleep and how you able to manage your energy, because energy is everything. You cannot focus if you don't have energy, and you do not want to sit up there and try to get this editing done in your YouTube videos, drinking Red Bulls and energy drinks. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to endorse them. And I'm not saying I don't do energy drinks. I'm trying to wean myself off. But remember one thing: if you have to go to bed and get up early, and you drinking energy drinks, what's going to happen is you're going to be sluggish. Now you ain't going to be able to wake up in the morning, because you're going to crash throughout the night after you've done your videos, and then you're going to be unemployed. So please find a way to implement extra time that you have, that you use for nothing. Just sitting there watching TV. Take out the TV and find a way to supplement the TV with editing your videos. All right? And that's the way out, because you got to cut something off in order to gain. So, all right, I hope that helps. Peace. Be safe.